Very good morning to all of you, my friends. Welcome back. So, in the previous session, we discussed the concept of overheads and activity-based costing. I tried my best to cover all the concepts in detail. So now in today's session, we'll be discussing again the concepts of service costing. I'll be discussing few questions from RTPs and past practice manual. In the meanwhile, if you guys have any doubts or queries relating to service costing, because again, these sessions are basically the revisionary classes. So only one session is allocated and this much is more than sufficient. So if you guys have any doubts or queries relating to service costing, you guys can post your queries. These classes are conducted for your benefit only. So whatever running in your mind relating to service costing, be it any doubt, be it any query related to any question or any conceptual queries, you guys can post your queries. I'm here to address all your queries. You can post it over the portal also, or you can post it over, one second. So you can post it over portal also. Those who want to join over Zoom can join and can speak to me. So anyways, guys, let's proceed. So service costing, it's a method of costing used by those companies who are into service sector. I repeat again, service costing, it's a method of costing used by those companies who are into service sector. They uses this costing technique to calculate the cost per unit of service, and accordingly they can fix up the fare or selling price, whatever it is. So in service costing, when talking about the format of preparing service cost sheet, the format is very simple: the total cost divided by units. So I repeat again, when talking about service cost sheet, the concept is very simple. You have to calculate the total cost divided by units. Now, units may vary from industry to industry. There are many service sector companies who are providing us services. So the units may vary from service to industry to industry. So the units may vary from industry to industry. Further, units are also of two types: single unit and composite unit. Wherein we are considering only one element, it will be single unit, and if we are considering two elements, it will be composite units. So let me give you a few examples of the industries and the units thereof. So when talking about transportation industry, in single unit can be, we can calculate we can calculate cost per ton, or we can calculate cost per passenger. So the passenger will be the unit, the tons will be the unit. Cost per mile, if it is composite unit, it can be cost per ton kilometer. Two elements are involved, ton and kilometer. So it will be cost per, or we can say cost per ton mile, or it can be cost per.
हाँ सर।
Yes, sir.
सर जो आपने पीपीटी अपलोड की है वो तो एलवीसी में कर दी ना, एलवीआरसी में करनी थी ना उसको तो।
अच्छा, उसमें
आपका
करना
बैच
है.
तो एलवीआरसी चल रहा है।
Okay. So you want me to upload over LVRC?
यस।
One second. So, okay, got it. Fine. Just give me a minute. I'll just upload it over LVRC. Sorry. Yes, sir, I've done this.
ओके
Can you
सर,
please
वन
check it up?
सर्विस कॉस्टिंग।
Yes, service costing.
ओके सर, डन।
Yeah. So it can be cost per passenger kilometer. So these can be the number of units, and accordingly we will calculate the cost per unit. So unit can be either ton, either passenger, either mile or kilometer, or in composite unit it can be either ton kilometer, ton mile or passenger kilometers. Apart from this, when we can talking about hotel industry, it can be cost per room, cost per day, and in composite unit it will be cost per room day. In hospitals, it can be cost per patient or cost per bed. And alternatively, in composite unit, it will be cost per patient bed. So check the question, read the question carefully, and then check the question, read the question carefully, and then calculate the cost per unit of service. So these are the few illustrations of the various industries. So I repeat again, for the students who have joined a bit late, we have started with service costing. It's a method of costing used by those companies who are into service sector. They uses this technique to calculate the cost per unit of service. Accordingly, they can fix up the selling price. When talking about the basic statement of service cost sheet, it's very simple. You have to calculate the total cost divided by units. So units can be either single unit or composite unit. So I've given few illustration for the same. I request you guys to copy the explanation. Thereafter, we'll proceed further. Further, very important, especially in transportation industry, the composite unit can be calculated using two ways. That is absolute and commercial. Absolute uses the weighted average approach, and commercial uses the simple average approach. Let me discuss this part with the help of a question because many students find difficulty in this part. I request you guys to open your study material. I'll be referring a question from the study material. I request you guys to open your study material illustration number 1, page number 12.8. So I request you guys to open your study material illustration number 1 a lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric ton in station B and balance at station C. So there are 3 stations A, B, and C. On return trip, it reaches station A with a load of 16 metric ton loaded at station C. The distance is given from A to B, B to C, and C to A. Compute the absolute metric ton kilometer and commercial metric ton kilometer. So let's start with this part first of all. Whenever you find such type of question, try to convert that question into diagrammatic form. So herein a lorry starts with 20 metric tons of goods from station A. So from station A, the lorry is going to station B. From B, it is going to station C. And from C, directly it is coming back to A. So this is the route of lorry, wherein 20 metric tons of goods were goods from station A they started. So from A to B, 20 metric tons were transported. However, it is given in the question that 8 metric tons in station, it unloads 8 metric ton in station B. So out of 20 metric tons, 8 were unloaded at station B. So balance 20 minus 8, only 12 metric tons were transported to C and they were unloaded at BC. Now, while in the return journey, they went directly from C to A with 16 metric tons. So these are the details of the quantity that is transferred from various stations. So A, they loaded 20 metric tons and it went to B. But B, they unloaded 8 metric tons. So balance tons were transported from B to C. And from C to A, only 16 metric tons. Further, the distance is given from A to B. It is 80 kilometers. From B to C, it is 120 kilometers. And from C to A, it is 160 kilometers. So we know now we have converted this question into diagrammatic form. Now we can easily calculate the absolute ton kilometers. That is from A to B, 80 kilometers, 20 metric tons traveled. From B to C, for 120 kilometers, 12 metric tons traveled. And from C to A, 160 kilometers, 16 metric ton traveled. So it will be 5,600 metric ton kilometers. So this is the weighted average approach wherein we have to multiply it with the distance and the tons traveled. Now when talking about simple average approach, it's very simple. The total distance traveled multiplied by average tons. So when talking about the distance traveled, it is 80 plus 120, 200 plus 160, 360 kilometers multiplied by average tons, that is 20 plus 12 plus 16 divided by 3. So this will be 5760 ton kilometer. So these are the two approaches to calculate the composite unit. Now, if the question is silent, always assume that you have to, always remember that you have to follow this approach. If the question is silent, always use the weighted average approach. However, if the question clearly specifies that you have to use the simple average approach or commercial approach, then you have to. So I repeat again, I'm just writing recommended to be applied only when asked. That's it. So many students generally find difficulty in this part. So I'm just discussing this part. Those who want to copy the presentation again, this part is the key. Whenever you find such type of question wherein the lorries or bus is traveling from one station to various station and then coming back, so try to convert the question in diagrammatic form. It will be easy for you to write the answer and make sure, and I assure you the answer will be correct. Because see, in this chapter, the main part is what the calculation of units, be it ton kilometer, passenger kilometer, room days, patient beds, whatever it is. So here in the calculation of units is the key. Rest, so everything will be given in the question. You have to calculate the total cost. That's it. But the important part is the calculation of units. That is the key. So herein, I request you guys to copy this explanation and presentation. Now, guys, very important. While preparing cost sheets specifically for transportation industry, you have to divide the cost in three parts. That is fixed or standing cost, variable cost or running cost, and last one is maintenance cost. So there is a fixed format in transportation industry, I repeat again, wherein you have to classify the cost in three parts. That is fixed or standing cost, variable cost or running cost, and maintenance cost. Thereafter, the total of all these three will be the total cost divided by units. Rest, all the other industries, there is no specific format. Depending upon the information given in the question, you can make it in your format. But yes, specifically in transportation industry, you have to categorize the cost in three parts. So I request you guys to open the notes what I have provided over the portal. I'm discussing one question from the material what I have provided. It is related to RTP January 2025. The question is from RTP January 2025. RTP January 2025. I request you guys to please download the notes what I have provided over the portal. I'll be discussing one question from RTP January 2025. Similar question is there in the study material, but yes, again, the format and the question pattern is a bit different. Those who are not being able to download, you can take the screenshot of the question number 2, RTP January 2025. So this is the second page, and this is the first page. So let's start with this question. Roshan Travels provide bus facility to a college for carrying its student from home to college and dropping back at home after study hours. The travel company runs a fleet of 6 buses for this purpose and park them in college premise. The information regarding the bus running is as follows, wherein the college operates in two shifts, one in morning and one in afternoon. The distance traveled by each bus one way is 20 kilometers. The students need to attend the college for 30 days in a month. The seating capacity of each bus is 30 passenger, and seating capacity is normally 80% occupied during the year. The information regarding the expenses are given, wherein driver salary and attendant salary is 60,000 per bus per month. Cleaner salary is 30,000 per cleaner per month. One cleaner is for two buses. Diesel averages 8 kilometers per liter. So the bus travels for 8 kilometers for every liter of diesel, and the cost of diesel is 160 rupees per liter. The insurance charges per annum are 2% of the purchase price. License fees and taxes is given. Parking charges paid are given. Repairs and maintenance, including engine oil and lubricating oil, is given for every 5760 kilometer is given. Purchase price of each bus is given. Scrap value is also given, and useful life is also given. Students coming from a distance of beyond 10 kilometers from the college are charged double the fare than that from the students coming from a distance up to 10 kilometers. So those who are traveling up to 10 kilometers, normal fare will be charged, but those who are traveling more than 10 kilometers, double fare will be charged. 50% of the student traveling in each trip are coming from a distance beyond 10 kilometers from the college. The charges are to be based on the average cost. You are required to prepare a statement showing expenses of operating a single bus for a year. Calculate the average cost per student per month in respect of the students coming from a distance up to 10 kilometers and more than 10 kilometers. So I request you guys to read the question once again. Thereafter, we'll start with the solution. So let's start with this question. Question number 2, RTP Gen 2025. As I mentioned, for transportation industry, you have to categorize the cost in three parts. That is fixed or standing cost, variable cost or running cost, and maintenance cost. So let's start. Now, see, the question is asking us to prepare the statement. See, prepare a statement showing expenses of operating a single bus for a year. So we have to prepare a statement of cost yearly, but for a single bus only. So let's start. So the first and the foremost thing is driver and attendant salary 60,000 per bus per month. Next is cleaner salary, and one cleaner is for two buses. Divided by two, because one cleaner for two buses. So the total cost is 360 divided by 2, that is 1,80,000. Diesel will be a variable cost that will be considering separately. Insurance charges are 2% of the purchase price. And when talking about the purchase price of the bus, it is 30 lakh rupees. So this will be 60,000. License fees and taxes 10,160 per bus per month. So 10,160 per bus per month. Parking charges are paid 36,000 per month. Into the number of buses, that is the total number of buses are 6. So this will be 72,000. Next, we will consider the repairs and maintenance that will go part of maintenance cost. Now the purchase price is given, scrap value is given, and useful life is given. So let's calculate the depreciation. The purchase price is 30 lakh rupees. Minus scrap value is 6 lakh. Divided by useful life is 8 years. So this will be 3 lakh. So we are done with all the fixed cost. So this will be my total A. Now let's move toward the variable cost or running cost. So see here in the diesel cost is basically dependent upon the distance traveled. So let's calculate the kilometers also. Let's calculate the number of kilometers also. So very simple, guys. The bus is going. See, read the question carefully again. So they are providing bus facility to a college for carrying its students from home to college and dropping back them home after study hours. And the buses are parked in college premise. So see, they are going to pick up the students for 20 kilometers. Again, they are coming back to school. Then they are going to pick up the second shift students. They are going to drop them back to school. So this is for pickup. And then for drop also, again the same story, 20 kilometers they are dropping. Then they are coming back. Again 20 kilometers they are going and then coming back. So I repeat again. See, the college operates in two shifts, one in morning and one in afternoon. So morning shift, they are going, they are coming back. Then they are going to drop morning shift students and they are coming back. Then evening shift also, they are going and they are coming back. They are going to pick up the evening shift. They are coming back. Then they are dropping the evening shift and they are coming back. So this is for morning shift. Going from the school, pick up and coming back. Going from the school, pick up and coming back. So total distance traveled by bus in a day is how many distance? How much kilometer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 160 kilometers in a day. A bus is traveling for 160 kilometers in a day, and the bus is working for how many days in a month? 30 days in a month. Into how many months in a year? Since nothing is mentioned, so we will assume that full 12 months. So one bus is traveling for 57,600 kilometers per bus in a year. So we can easily calculate the diesel cost. See, it's given in the question that it gives a mileage of 8 kilometer per liter and the cost of diesel is 160 rupees per liter. So diesel cost, a bus is running for 57,600 kilometers and a bus run for 8 kilometers in a liter of diesel. So we will get the quantity of diesel into, if we multiply it with the rate of diesel, that is 160 rupees per liter, we'll get the total cost of the diesel. So this will be 11,52,000. Further, when talking about the maintenance cost, it is given repairs and maintenance including engine oil and lubricant for every 5760 kilometer. So see, the total distance traveled is 57,600. And for every 5760 kilometers, the repair cost is 5712. So every 5760 kilometer, the repair cost is 5712. So the cost will be 57,120. So I think I have covered all the cost now. So let's calculate the total cost. So this is my total cost for the year. So cost per bus per month will be what? Divided by 12. So this is the cost per month per bus. Now see, we have to calculate the fare to be charged. So I'm erasing this part. Now see, let the fare up to 10 kilometer be X. So fare for more than 10 kilometer will be how much? 2X. Now see, the seating capacity of the bus is total 30 students, 30%, and the average occupancy is 80%. Now see, very important guys, the seats occupied are 24. So very important guys, a bus is catering 24 into 2, that is 48 students. A bus is catering total 48 students, 24 in the morning shift, 24 in the evening shift. Of these 48 students, traveling up to 10 kilometers will be how much? 50%, that is 24. And more than 10 kilometer will be how much? 24. 50% students are traveling up to 10 kilometer and 50% are traveling more than 10 kilometers. So their fare is also we have. So for 24 students, the fare will be X, and for 24 students, the fare will be 2X, and this should be equal to 22,190. So value of X will be how much? So value of X will be 3082. That is up to 10 kilometers. And for more than 10 kilometers, it will be double 6164. So this is the way you guys have to solve the question. These types of examiner do ask frequently. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. In the meanwhile, I request you guys to copy the solution. So now I'll be discussing question number 1 from my material, that is for RTP September 2025. I request you guys to start reading question number 1, RTP September 2025. So let's start with this question, RTP September 2025, wherein due to frequent power cuts, and inconsistent water supply from the electricity board, Anju Manufacturing Private Limited, a mid-size engineering goods manufacturer based in Pune, decided to set up its own captive power generation plant. The plant is critical for ensuring uninterrupted production across its two major units, So there is a company who is manufacturing mid-size engineering goods, and they have two units, Unit 1 and Unit 2. In Unit 1, they are manufacturing industrial machinery component, which is highly power intensive. And in Unit 2, they are manufacturing agriculture equipment parts, which require moderate power load. The factory operations heavily depend on continuous electricity and water supply for running CNC machine, foundry operations, welding unit, and assembly lines. And any electricity failure lead to major production delay, idle labor costs, and penalties from the client due to late delivery. After analyzing the risk of depending entirely on electricity board, the company's board of directors approved a proposal to invest in a dedicated steam boiler and power generation plant within the factory premises. So they are just fed up with the electricity board, and they are planning to set up a plant which will generate electricity so that they can get electricity supply to make sure that their units are running consistently, that is Unit 1 and Unit 2. So they are planning to set up a plant which will generate electricity, and the information is given in the question as regards that plant. So see, the following information has been taken from the record in connection with generation of power during the month, wherein coal is used, freight and handling charges are given, oil is given, water cost is given, steam boiler cost is given, salaries and wages of the boiler house is given, recovery on account of sale of ashes is also given. So these are the costs that are associated with boiler house. Now see, the next part is the generation station, wherein the salaries and wages are given, repairs and maintenance of generating equipment is given, depreciation, insurance premium, fuel handling and storage expenses, rent of generating station premise, share of administration charges. So this is the cost that is given. Total number of units generated before losses is 2 lakh. Normal losses in the process is 3,000 units generated. So normal loss is given. Electricity purchased from grid to meet the annual emergency requirement, 5,000 units at the rate 6 per unit. So they have purchased the electricity also, so that even their functions are uninterrupted. So 5,000 units they purchase at the rate 6 per unit. 10% of the effective units generated are used internally by the generator department itself. So out of the total units generated, 10% is used by the generator department itself, that is for generation of electricity. Additional information, the purchased electricity units are not subject to any loss adjustment, so it's by default assumed only. Since we are purchasing electricity, so there will be no normal loss. Normal loss will only be on the units that are manufactured. And 10% of the effective units generated are used internally by the generator. Emergency purchase units should be added to the effective units available for use. Okay, so you are required to calculate the total cost of electricity generated and cost of generating electricity per unit. So let's start with this question. Question number 1 from the material what I have provided. It is from RTP September 2025. So first thing is the coal consumed 1800 tons at the rate 230 per ton. Freight and handling charges are 7% of the value of the coal used. Oil is 15 tons at the rate 4,500 per ton. Water is 80,000 liters at the rate 0.07 per liter. Steam boiler cost is rupees 50 lakh with a residual value of 2 lakh after a life of 10 years. So let's calculate the depreciation. 50 lakh minus 2 lakh divided by 10. Sorry guys, I think the information is given per month. So we have to divide this by 12 also. This will be 40,000. Next is the salaries and wages. Recovery on account of sale of ashes, that is 150 tons at the rate 60 rupees per ton. Since this amount is recovered, so this will be deducted. So we will get the total cost of the boiler house. Four lakh 14,000, 28,980, 67,500, 5,600, 40,000. We'll continue here with the remaining statement. So next is generating station. And the cost is given as salaries, skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled. So it is 60 into 1200. Twenty into 1,000. That is 25,500. Repairs and maintenance of generating equipment is 30,000. Depreciation is 75,000. Insurance premium is 15,000. Fuel handling and storage expenses are 8,000. Rent of generating station premise is 12,000. Share of administration charges are 65,000. So let's calculate the total cost. Now, apart from this, we have procured electricity from the grid. So let's name it as other cost. You have purchased electricity 5,000 units at the rate 6. The cost is 30,000. So A, B, and C will calculate the total cost. That is A plus B plus C. So this is the total cost. So this is the total cost of generating electricity. Now let's calculate the number of units. So here in the question is asking you are required to calculate the total cost of electricity generated. So this is the total cost of electricity generated. Now the next part is cost of generating electricity per unit. So we have to calculate the effective units. So units generated is how much? Total 2 lakh units are generated, in which the normal loss is 3,000 units. And very important, it is given in the question that these 5,000 units that are purchased will not be considered for normal loss. In this, we will add 5,000 and then we will add 5,000, that is the units purchased effective units. I hope this part of board is visible to all. These are the effective units that are generated. Minus 10% is used internally by the generator. It is given in the question that 10% of the effective units generated are used internally by the generator department itself. So minus 10% used by so net so we have the total cost divided by 181,800. So we'll get the cost so this will be 5.48. This is the cost per unit of the electricity generated. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your query. Giving you 3 to 4 minutes time to copy this explanation. These types of questions examiner can ask. It's a good question. It's a new question. So I request you guys to copy the solution. In the meanwhile, those who have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. So herein also see in power generation sector, no need to classify the cost. But herein, in some parts, just like in transportation industry, what we have done, we have to classify the cost in three parts. That is basically the fixed or standing cost. Second one is variable or running cost, and third one is basically the maintenance cost. So this is what we used to do in transportation industry. But with any other industry, but for any other industry, there is no fixed format. You can prepare the format as per your choice. Ultimately, you have to calculate the total cost divided by units. So herein there were two stations involved. So for better presentation, we have classified in two parts. That is the cost of boiler house and the cost of generating station. Alternatively, you can straight away prepare a statement of cost, write down the total cost, and you can calculate the total cost. This is the way you have to solve the question. Now, see, we discussed few question on transportation industry, then we discussed one question on power generating unit. One question, a very important question I want to discuss relating to hotel industry again. When talking about the statement of cost, you can simply prepare straight away the statement of cost. No need to bifurcate the cost divided by the units. In general the units will be either room or days or room days. That is the composite unit room days. Now here in the trickier part is the calculation of room days. So I'm discussing one question. I'm just discussing a random question on calculation of room days and how to calculate the tariff and all. So let's frame a question wherein, assuming the total cost of operation is the total cost of operating a hotel is, let's say, rupees 48 lakh. Profit is targeted at 20% of revenue and taxes are 30% of revenue. They have three categories of room. Standard room, deluxe room, and suite room. And the number of rooms is also given 100, 30, and 20. When talking about the occupancy, it is also given 80%, 70%, and 50%. This is the average occupancy. Further, the room rent of deluxe will be double of standard, and room rent of the suite will be 2.5 times of deluxe. Assume 360 days in a year. Calculate room rent for all the three categories of room. Hi, Shagufta. I have doubt in service costing in illustration number 5. Can you please explain briefly? Okay, so Shagufta, let me complete this question. Then we'll cover illustration number 5 also. So anyways, this is the question. Now we have to calculate the room rent. The total cost of operating a hotel is 48 lakh, wherein the profit is targeted at 20% of the revenue and taxes are 30% of the revenue. There are three categories of rooms: standard, deluxe, and suite. And the number of rooms are 100, 30, and 20. And the occupancy is also given. Room rent of the deluxe will be double of standard, and room rent of suite will be 2.5 times of deluxe. Assuming 360 days in a year, you are required to calculate the total room rent of all the three categories of room. Now, herein, we have the cost, that is 48 lakhs. In this, we have to add profit and tax. Profit is 20% of revenue, tax are 30% of revenue. So assuming revenue is 100%, so tax is 30%, profit is 20%, it means cost will be how much? Balance 50%. So my revenue will be how much? 96 lakh will be my revenue. 96 lakh will be my revenue. Now let's calculate the number of room days. This calculation is very important, as in when you will find a question on hotel industry, you have to calculate the number of room days in every question. So herein there are three categories of room: standard, deluxe, and suite room. So the number of rooms are 100, occupancy is 80%, and assuming 360 days in a year, so we'll get the total number of rooms. Similarly, here in the rooms are 30, occupancy is 70%, and it is 360 days in a year. So we'll get the number of rooms for deluxe category. So for suite also it is 50 into 50, 20 into 50% into 360 days. We'll get the number of room days for the suite category of room. So this will be 28,800. This will be 7,560. This will be 3,600. So this is the calculation of room days. Now, let's assume room rent for standard room be X. Therefore, for deluxe room B, it is given that the room rent of deluxe room will be double of standard. So this will be how much? 2x. And for suite room B, it is room rent of suite will be 2.5 times of deluxe. So deluxe it is 2. So 2 into 2.5 times. So this will be 5x. So let's calculate the equivalent number of rooms. So these are the number of rooms for standard into the rent is X. For deluxe, it is 7,560 into 2x. For suite room also, it is 3,600 into 5x. So this is the total number of revenue. This is the total amount of revenue will equate with the revenue we have already calculated, that is 96 lakh. We will get the value of X. That is the standard. So let's calculate the value. So this will be 155 rupees for standard. For deluxe, it will be 310. And for suite room, it will be 775. That is 155 into 2 and 310 into 2. So whenever you find a question on hotel industry, this is the best approach, wherein first you have to calculate the revenue. The cost is given in the question. Thereafter, you have to calculate the number of room days in every question. So we have calculated the room days. Now let's calculate the equivalent number of room days. So this is the way we will get the value of X. And then we can calculate the room rent for all the three categories. If you guys have any doubts or queries in this question, you guys can post your queries. Further, I suggest you guys to copy the question and the solution. This question is the key and a very important and a very good question. So done with this question. Now let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes with illustration number 5 from study material and one more question from my set. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir? Admin sir, are you there? Fine, friends. Let's take a break of 15 minutes. Thank you. Admin sir, are you there? आपने वो ब्रेक का पेज डाला था क्या? Okay, fine, no problem. So should I continue? I'm live only, no? Okay, friends. So welcome back. So let's start with illustration number 5. As Shagufta mentioned that she is facing issues with illustration number 5. I request you guys to open your study material. Let's start with illustration number 5. So GTC has a lorry of 6-ton carrying capacity. It operates lorry service from A to city B for a particular vendor, and it charges 2,400 per ton from city A to city B and 2,200 per ton for return journey from city B to A. Goods are also delivered to an intermediate city C, but no extra charges are billed for unloading the goods in between the destination city, and no concession in rate is given for the reduced load after unloading at intermediate city. Distance between A to B is 300 kilometers and distance from city A to C is 140 kilometers. So it means from C to B, it will be 160 kilometers. In the month of journey, the truck made 12 journey between A to B, and the details of the journey are as follows. Where in number of journeys 10, the load is 6 tons from A to B, and for 2 journey A to C, it is 6 tons, and from C to B, it is for 2 journeys, it is 4 tons. In the return journey, the details are given from B to A, it is 5 journey, 8 tons. B to A, 6 journey, 6 tons. B to C, it is 1 journey, 6 tons. And from C to A, it is 1 journey, 0 tons. Annual fixed cost and maintenance charges are given, that is 6 lakh and 1 lakh 20,000 respectively. Running charges spent during the month of January are 29,000, 2,94,400. It includes 12,400 paid as penalty for overloading. You are required to calculate the cost as per commercial ton kilometer and absolute ton kilometer. So herein we need to prepare the master chart. So just give me a minute. Let me read the question once again. Shagufta. So there are two cities A and B, and there is an intermediate city C. So this is the way the lorry is traveling from A to C, C to B, B to C, and C to A. When talking about the distance between A to B, it is 300, and from city A to C, it is 140 kilometers. So 140 kilometers, this will be 160 kilometers, this will be 160 kilometers, and this will be 140 kilometers. So I'm just trying to present the question in diagrammatic form. Further, it is given in the question that the lorry capacity is 6 tons. So capacity is 6 tons. And it has made 12 journey between city A to B. So number of journeys are 12. So details are given in the 10 journeys. In the 10 journeys, okay, so see, in the first 10 journey, the load is 6 tons from A to B. So 60 tons were transported from A to B, that is in 10 journeys. So in 10 journeys, 60 tons were transported. 60 from A to C and C to B, total 60 tons were transported from A to B via station C. So the 10 journeys over now, we are left out with 2 journeys. From A to C for 2 journeys, they carried a load of 6 tons. So it means 12 tons were transported from A to C. 2 times 6 tons. And from C to B, 2 times only 4 tons. So it means what? In 2 journeys, they unloaded twice at city B. So see, A to C 2 times 6 tons, but from C to B, they carried for 2 times only 4 tons. So it means 2 plus 2, 4 tons were unloaded at city C. So out of these 12 tons, 4 tons were unloaded. So only 8 tons were transported from C to B. So total transported from A to C, it is 72 tons, and from C to B, it is 68 tons. Shagufta, I hope this part is clear for onward journey. Yes, Shagufta, I hope onward journey is clear to you. The total number of journeys are 12 and 6 tons is the capacity. For 10 times, they carried a full load from A to B. For 2 times, A to C, they went with 6 tons, but from C to B, they carried only 4 tons. Okay, so now let's talk about the return journey. So B to A, 5 journey, they carried a load of 8 tons. For 5 journey, so out of 12, in 5 return journey, they carried a load of 8 tons. From B to A, nothing, no offloading at city C. So 8 5s are 40. 40 tons. From B to C and C to A also 40 tons. So in short, B to A, they carried a load of 40 tons. Now for the 6th journey, sorry, for the number of 5 journeys are over now. For 6th journey, they carried a load of 6 tons and the capacity is also 6 tons from B to A. So 36 tons. For 6 times, they carried a load of 6 tons. From B to A. And from B to C, 1 time 6 tons and C to A, 1 time 0 tons. So in the last journey, that is total 12 journeys are there, 5 plus 6, 11. 1 carried a load of 6 tons, but all were unloaded at city C. So this is just the language of question. I'm writing it in an easier way. So even though 6 tons were transported from B to C, but nothing was transported from C to A. So the total tons transported were 82 tons from B to C and from C to A 76 tons. So this is the diagrammatic presentation of the question. Now you can easily solve in absolute and commercial. So 140 kilometers, 72 tons. For 160 kilometer, 68 tons. From B to C, 160 kilometers. And from C to A, it is 140 kilometers, 76 tons. This is the how we will calculate the final answer. So this will be 44, 720 ton kilometers. And for commercial, it's very simple. The average tons divided multiplied by total kilometers. So 300 plus 300, 600 kilometers they traveled. Into the average tons traveled is how much? 72 plus 68 plus 82 plus 76 divided by 4. So anyone with any doubts or queries? So we are done with this question. I request you guys, Shagufta especially, just copy this calculation part because this is the easiest way to present the solution. Shagufta, what was the doubt in this question? Where exactly you are finding it difficult? Yes, Shagufta. So आपको डायग्राम में प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है या लैंग्वेज में प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है? आई होप if we present it in diagrammatic way, you're finding it more easy. Yes, Shagufta. Okay, no worries. I hope you are thorough with the solution now. So we are done with this question. Now let's move towards one more question. This question is from past practice manual. I request you guys to please open question number 4 from past practice manual. Question number 4 from my material. The question is from the past practice manual relating to a club. Sharing the screen for your reference. So a club runs a library for its member. The management of the club has provided the following figures for its library department. So there is a club who is running library also. So the number of club members are 5,000. Number of library members are 1,000. They are charging a library fees per member per month rupees 100. Fine for late return of book is rupees 1 per book per day. And the average number of book returned late per month is 500, and average number of days each book is returned late is 5 days. Number of available old books are 50,000. The cost of the new book is rupees 300 per book. Number of the books purchased per year, it is 1200. Cost of maintenance per old book per year is rupees 10. Staff details are given wherein librarian is there, assistant librarian is there, and clerk is there. You are required to calculate the cost of maintaining the library per year, excluding the cost of new books, the cost incurred by per member per month on the library, excluding the cost of new books, and the net income from the library per year. If the club follows a policy that all new books must be purchased out of library revenue, what is the maximum number of books that can be purchased per year, and how many excess books are being purchased by the library per year? So let's start with this question, question number 4. So let's first calculate the cost of maintaining the library, excluding the cost of new books. So let's start with the salaries first of all. Librarian, it is 10,000 per month. Only one librarian into 12 months. So this will be 1,20,000. Assistant librarian, total there are 3, and the salary is 7,000. Clerk is 1 clerk, and 4,000 is the salary. So this is all what about the salary. Next is we can say, see, 1,000 library fees per month. This is the revenue. Fine is also revenue. See, number of available old books are 50,000 and cost of maintaining per old book per year is rupees 10. So total it will be 5 lakh. I think these are the only costs that are covered. Rest, I think we have covered everything. So this is the cost of maintaining the library, excluding new book. That is 9,20,000. So first question, the cost of maintaining the library per year, excluding the cost of new books. The first point is over. This is point number first. Second question they are asking is the cost incurred per member per month on the library, excluding the cost of new books. So let's calculate the cost per month. $9,20,000 divided by 12. That is 76,667. And if we want to calculate the cost per member, we will divide it by the number of members. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can post your queries. Let me check 1 second. Okay, the number of members are 1,000, not 100. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Now, the next point is that you are required to calculate the net income from the library per year. First, let's write the revenue, wherein the library fees per member per month is rupees 100. It is rupees 1 per book per day, and average number of return late per month is 500. So 500 books are written every month late. for a period of 5 days, generally the delay is, and rupees 1 into 12 months in a year. So it is 30,000. So this is my total revenue minus the cost we have calculated is 9,20,000. So net profit is 3,10,000. So this is the net revenue for the library. So we are done with the first part. We are done with the second part. The third part, what they are asking is that what is the net income from the year from the library per year. So this is the third part. Now, from the second part, it is given what is the maximum number of books that can be purchased per year. So A point, maximum number of books that can be purchased. So the revenue is 3,10,000, assuming they are purchasing it from the revenue. And the cost of book is C, it is 300 rupees per book. The cost of book is 300 rupees. 1 second, let me check the doubts. So revenue is 3,10,000 divided by 300. So it is 1033 books can be purchased in a year. Now it is given in the question. It is given in the question. So this is the A part. Now B part, very important. How many excess books are being purchased by the library per year? It is given in the question that the number of book purchased per year were 1,200. So excess book purchased were how much? See, 1,200 were the books that were purchased, and we have the capacity of 1,033. So the number of excess book purchased were how much? 167. So this is the way you have to solve the question. This question is not there in the study material. In fact, costing of clubs is also not there in the study material. So again, this question is very important. It is from the past practice manual. I request you guys to copy the solution. In the meanwhile, those who have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. Anyone with any doubts or queries? Again, this is a very good question. Examiner can ask these types of question also. So this is all what about this chapter, service costing. So from examination point of view, this chapter is very, very important. Examiner do ask question quite frequently from this chapter. And when talking about the weightage, it is 8 to 10 marks. But you will find in every attempt, mostly you will find a question on service costing, and sometimes examiner do ask query question from service costing. So again, it's a very easy chapter. It's basically a bonus marks. The point is, try to solve as many as possible questions from study material, past practice manual. Lots of questions are available over institute portals only, wherein MTPs, RTPs, past examination question, study material questions, and practice manual question. So try to solve as many as possible questions in writing. You will find variety of questions specifically on hospital, hotels, and transportation industry. But for the rest of industry, you will find question, especially in the study material and recent MTPs and RTPs. So try to solve as many as possible questions in writing. Again, very important in writing. Try to solve as many as possible question in writing. It will help you to improve the concepts as apart from this. Again, you will develop speed to solve the question. So try to solve as many as possible questions. Again, the chapter is very easy. Mostly examiner do ask practical question, but yes, in rare case, sometimes they may ask theory questions also. So if you guys have any doubts or queries relating to this chapter, I'm here to address all your queries. So whatever it is, you can speak to me, you can ask me, waiting for your queries and doubts. From my side, I have completed this chapter. Still, if you want me to discuss any question of study material or any other question, you can please mention, or you can share me the question. I can solve it straight away. Yes, Shagufta, Kavivya, any doubts in this chapter? Waiting for your queries. Great. You have solved all the question, Kavivya? Kavya? Good. So you're finding this chapter easy? You're able to solve all the questions, right? Okay. Yes, Shagufta, any other doubts, queries? Akruma Ansari, any other doubts or queries? Fine, friends. So we are done with this chapter. See you guys very soon with the next chapter. I think it is standard costing and marginal costing I'll be taking care of. So come prepared, whatever the doubts. Again, these two chapters are very important and bit on the trickier side to solve all the questions of standard costing and marginal costing. Come prepared in the coming session. I'll be discussing all the concepts in detail. Still, if you have any doubts from study material or anything, you can post it. I'll be there to address all your queries. So thank you so much for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. Come prepared for the next session with your doubts and all your queries. Thank you so much. Admin sir? Admin sir, I'm done with the session. Yes, I'm done.